Good morning. Welcome to the Community Calendar. I'm Jazze, and today my guest is Atlanta's own Raynard McGruder, better known as Indian Red. He's going to talk about an event that happened yesterday. It was the American Indian Fashion Show. You were the host, master of ceremonies. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah, so tell me about the event. And I found it very interesting because I have never heard of an Indian fashion show.
Okay, so the event, it was a beautiful event. It was put together by Watersign and Co., collaborating with Original Garments, powered by the people of Resource. Hosting this original American fashion show weekend that we just had, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. You got to make it to the next one.
I want to talk a little bit more because I was a little confused when I was having a conversation about Native Americans and then Indigenous Americans. What is the difference?
Well, according to the anthropologists, the archaeologists, and the people at the Smithsonian or the people at the Library of Alexandria, they have recorded a set of two people on this land. So when it comes to the bones and the artifacts that have been excavated at our site, they know that there are two different people. So there are the people that was here before the Bering Strait ice bridge voyage of the natives. So that's those original Aboriginal out of Choctaw Americans that were reclassified and eventually became colored people and became all the various names that they give to people today.
And the indigenous people are people that were already in the Americas?
Yes, ma'am. We don't have a Bering Strait voyage. The term is Autochthons, and it means that they spring forth from the soil that they are on. There's no migration trail on these bones, on these people, on this lineage.
That is very
So
interesting.
we're not from Siberia, Bering Strait ice bridge. And the other thing is, our sites in America, they supposedly come 13,000 years ago. We have multiple, multiple sites that predate. They're older than 13,000 years.
That is really interesting. And myself, my family has always said, oh, you have Indian in you, but you do an
Mm,
ancestry test and I don't see any Indian in me. But that is something that is said a lot.
I'm glad you brought that up. So when you deal with the facts, you're going to deal with the documentation, and that's a paper trail. You're going to deal with something called genealogy. So when you do these tests, when you read the fine print, they tell you that the ethnicity of the illusionary race, which is a construct, is for entertainment purposes only is 0.01%. So they give you a whole 100% of these race ethnicities that you are, but it's for entertainment purposes. How you really understand who you are is from the documentation, from the paper trail. So a part of us spreading awareness for the original Americans who have been reclassified as colored people and now other terms. We actually descend by line of blood descent, card enrolled members of the federally recognized nations. I have over 13 ancestors that I descend from by line of descent, by blood descent, enrolled card member. I can give you the roll number, the card number of Mississippi, Oklahoma, Chickasaw, Choctaw, East Band, Cherokee, and that's fact. So that's beyond the 0.1% of the ethnicity that they give me on Ancestry.com. You see what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is there are some black people that are indigenous to the Americas.
The meaning, not some. It's a statistic. It's called, go to slavevoyages.org. Everything is documented. So they tell you how many people supposedly come from Africa. They tell you how many people are domestically arrived in prison, prisoners of war, enslaved. So it was less than 2%. I think it was 1.9%, according to slavevoyages.org. It was Aboriginal, indigenous prisoners of war that were enslaved in America at a greater level than what people realize. But when you go to look, that is what actually is documented and recorded.
And so if people wanted to get more information about that, where could they go?
Kansas is a physical location that you can go to search the land patterns based off of the last names in your family.
We do know that the indigenous people deserve awareness. They deserve to be recognized, especially if it's in your lineage. And I think it's really great that you guys are having events like this. Are you guys on social media or anything?
I'm on social media. You can find me as Indian Red. Alicia Nicole is one of the founders of this event. She's known in the culture and the community as Indian Girl.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this information. Keep spreading the word and doing what you're doing, and I appreciate this interview.
But then that site that they could go to was the Land Repository in Kansas.
I knew you'd find it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. You have a good one. Thank you.